So we're set to go, and Harold Reynolds will step in to lead it off.
And here's the action man of the Seattle Mariners, Harold Reynolds.
Big favorite here. Hi, Harold.
Safe at first base is Harold Reynolds. Way back, it is gone.
It depends on where I hit in the lineup, really, and there's been a lot of talk of me hitting leadoff.
Harold Reynolds in the leadoff spot.
Harold Reynolds leading off.
A lot of pressure here, pinch hitting for Harold Reynolds.
Let's do it. Platoon players, here we go.
Oh, yeah, it's a favorite time of day here. All the games tonight, almost a full slate. Baltimore at the Yankees. How about this matchup tonight?
I like it, too. I like this guy hitting, too. Mr. Hunter right here, Gunnarsson has done it every single day. June slugging has been his way to go. Rookie of the year for me. He's going to get some votes.
And talk about farm systems. The Orioles just keep bringing guys up from their system. They got another one coming tonight. Colton Cowser. Can't wait to see him.
Number 2 prospect?
Yeah, number 2 prospect. He was, I think, the number 5 pick in the draft. They're just loaded, especially in their system with left-handed hitting. And that plays well in that yard because you know with that fence in left field there, not so much of a right-hander's park. It's more of a left-hander park. Here's the full screen for you. Colton Cowser. I want to find guys who put up kind of numbers that he did in the minor leagues. It's pretty good company, right? I look for left-handed hitters, high on-base percentage with some slug. To me, a guy he most resembles is Christian Yelich. You saw the stats from the minor leagues there. Let's look at the breakdown here. Similar size, tall, lean guy, 6'2", 200, 6'3", 207. You see how upright they stand at the plate. Really tall in the batter's box, and they actually stay tall through the swing. Both of them have power to any part of the field. Look at Cowser here taking it the other way. Yelich, same way. And you watch Yelich, he'll use the lower half a little more. He has a little bit higher leg kick, but what I like about these guys is how balanced they are at the plate. Pretty simple approach to the plate. Again, they stand very tall in the batter's box. Kind of an old school swing here. Here's the contact point, and watch them after they get through the baseball. 2-hand finish, a little low. You don't see that one-hand high finish that you see a lot of young players take. So that's my take on Cowser. Christian Yelich.
You watch these young guys coming in, and when they get to the big leagues, how prepared they are. They really don't tick around that much with their batting stance. You look at the Paul Goldschmidt, the Yeliches of the world. They came into the league hitting one way, and they're probably still hitting the same way. But my eyes right here, Mr. Luis Arias. I think, he's at 388 right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's going to get more walks in the second half. If he wants to hit 390, 400, he's got to take his walks. But look, I think when you look at the city of Miami, Miami-Dade County right now, the fans are they're embracing this team. I know they watch them a lot on beat during their games back at home, but the fans are coming to town, and one thing that they're really keying on right now is their pitching staff, and their pitching staff kind of reminds me a little bit of 2003.
Oh,
you look at these dogs that they had, man. I'm telling you, it was Josh Beckett, Dontrelle Willis. He came up, made his MLB debut. He was 14-6 that day. And Yuri Perez, a 2.47 ERA. Look, he's coming down with his innings. I would think they're going to put him in the bullpen, just kind of like they did with Dontrelle Willis in the World Series, who absolutely killed it. We talk about the ace and Josh Beckett. He was an absolute dog. When the team needed him most, Josh Beckett came to play. I know Sandy Alcantara hasn't had that great of a year, but let's not forget, 14-7 to a 2.28. He won the NL Cy Young last year. I think this guy, kind of like the Bumgarner, can take over a postseason. Brad Penny, what a dog. With a guy like Luzardo, that's right. I compare him to a guy like Luzardo. He has been amazing. I love everything Luzardo is doing. Third highest whiff rate on breaking balls. Brad Penny, we knew he had that 12-6 at all times with that big fastball. And Carl Pavano, Mr. Absolute Dominant. In the World Series, this guy was doing it, a 1.40 ERA. But Braxton Garrett, for me, is a guy who's underrated. He's probably their best guy, 10 Ks through 9. When you need a win, when you need big innings, when you need a zero, Garrett has come to play. There's a lot of resemblance in the starting rotation right now for the Marlins from now to 2003, and I think both of these teams have a lot in common. The record shows that the same record they have right now was the same record they had in 2003. What happens? They go to the World Series and they win it.
Yeah, that was some power pitching staff in 03. Never forget Josh Beckett, short rest at Yankee Stadium, closing it out. Awesome.
Unbelievable.
Hey, how about in the desert? Mets are out there playing the D-backs. What I love about this year in baseball, we talk a lot about the new rules, faster games, I get that. Base running is back yonder, and the Diamondbacks are leading the way. When you play them, it's like a track meet. I went back and looked at the last couple of years here to see how often runners take a second base. I'm talking about first to third, second to home, maybe first to home. And you see that the percentage of players taking the extra base has gone up a lot in the last couple of years. We know stolen bases have gone up, and the stolen bases per game, the highest rate it's been in more than a quarter of a century. So the Diamondbacks are great at playing this game. I wanted to highlight the guys I think are the best base runners in baseball. I'm talking about going to get the extra base, having that mentality that I'm not just satisfied going station to station.
Got to score for your friends.
Always looking. I got to start with my guy Corbin Carroll, though. Corbin Carroll, to me, is like the best base runner in baseball. And yes, he's fast. I get it, 99th percentile. But to me, to be a great base runner, you have to have the mentality that you are always thinking the extra base. And for him, that ball doesn't even get to the wall, and he scores from first base. You don't see that a lot, but that's the kind of speed, it's game-changing speed that Corbin Carroll has. Now, I thought he was fast until I go to the WBC this year, and I'm watching Bobby Witt run the bases. Have you seen Bobby Witt? He's like 6'3", 200.
Smooth and quiet.
And he's faster than Corbin Carroll. It is amazing to watch. That's another ball. It doesn't get all the way to the boundary, and he scores from first base. Now, I'm just not going to stick with guys who are fast. Anybody can see speed. We can measure foot speed and all that. I'm talking about guys who have the mentality of being really good base runners. Thairo Estrada. You don't think of him as a burner, but he's right up there with the guys with the highest percentage of taking the extra base. Love the way this guy plays baseball. He can play different positions. He's got pop. Great, smart base runner. Speaking of smart base runners, how about, I think, one of the steadiest guys in the Padres this year, Ha-Seong Kim. Yes, he's fast, but again, he's another guy, cuts the corners well. If I'm the base coach, I'm at Williams over there, I'm always prepared to send him because I don't have to worry about him thinking, you're going to hold me up. No, it's always go time with Kim. Love the way he runs the bases. And here's a surprise for you. Christian Walker is not fast, folks. He's in the bottom 30% in sprint speed, but he kind of reminds me of a guy like Paul O'Neill. Guys you can't fall asleep on. They're going to take the extra base. Why? That's a two-out read, easy read for him right there. But he's great at reading the ball off the bat. And again, I'm telling you, when you play Arizona, you're at a track meet, you got to be prepared, not just as a catcher, infielders, outfielders on your toes because they're going to take the extra base. So a couple of D-backs here, highest percentage of extra bases taken. How about guys who take the extra base and have not been thrown out in the bases all year? That's pretty impressive.
That's impressive.
Half of a season, these are aggressive base runners who are making smart decisions. Again, starting with Ha-Seong Kim. And there's our guy, Christian Yelich again. Hopefully Colton Cowser can run the bases like him too.
5-tool players, but you talk about the Diamondbacks. Not only are they hitting the long ball like they did yesterday on 4th of July, but you also got Perdomo, you got Ketel Marte. You got a lot of guys that, Thomas now playing center field. They can run, they can do it all. How about, Texas and Boston, huh?
Great
we got
matchup.
Bayo coming on.
Whoa.
He's been fantastic.
How'd that
It's a
change?
ground ball rate change. We'll talk about that later.